and welcome to another episode of the Coach's Corner here at Francis Marion University. Joining us today is the FMU women's soccer coach, Frank Pitt. Frank, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
It's December now, and your first season at Francis Marion, the 2012 campaign, is in the rearview mirror.
That's right.
Can you give us a brief synopsis on how your season went here at Francis Marion?
Well, I think overall I feel like it was a very good season. So it took a little bit of getting to know each other, whether the kids were learning me and I was learning them a little bit. But we jumped right in. We had some fantastic results right off the bat, and had a close game with Campbell, who they lost to pretty decently last year, and a lot of other games where we got wins when they were losses in previous years. So overall, I think we're doing really good, going in the right direction.
Well, of course, let's hit on a couple bragging points.
There you go.
We had the best record in 5 seasons at Francis Marion, 7, 9, and 1.
Right.
3 of those losses were to BCS member schools, all of whom went to the NCAA Division I national tournament.
Yeah.
We posted our best home mark in school history, 6-0-0. Only the 4th time we've been unbeaten at home here on our new Hartzler Field.
That's right.
And you did that with a relatively young squad, only 2 seniors that you'll lose for next year. Talk a little bit about some of those accolades.
Yeah, it was. I tell you, winning every game at home was fantastic, and had we not won the first one, it's easy to say we wouldn't have won them all, but I don't know how many we would have won in total, just because it was back and forth. Presbyterian were a good side, and we just kind of caught them at the right times every time we got a goal, and it went in our favor. So winning every one at home was pretty substantial, because it's been a long time since I've done that, even at my previous school. And you know, like you say, you look for these little accolades to get the team going, to have them something to play for, and that got to be something to play for, because the games on the road were tough. Playing Duke on the road, they finished the season ranked 8th in one poll, 11th in the RPI. Texas Tech just finished 25th in the national poll. Maryland finished 16th. So playing those teams was a great experience, and not a lot of teams get to play those teams. And like I say, all went to the tournament, all went 2 to 3 rounds in the NCAA tournament, and you know, so overall it's just really exciting. The senior class, only having 2 players, it's incredible that we actually did win 7 games, only having basically 2 seniors and 2 juniors. And so next year we're still pretty young, and I think we're going to do really well next year.
Talk a little bit about some of your key players from this season that you're going to look forward to build on in the future. Well,
I think Yasmin Bunner, she was our key player of the season. She did a lot of things at the right times. She was the one that got us back in the game against Presbyterian at that first home win, and she scored, I think, 7 goals and had about 5 assists, which is pretty big for a center midfielder. And then looking at the younger class, Sandia Dembo scored 4 goals off corner kicks. I don't know how many that'll happen in the future, but that's pretty darn awesome for a left back to score straight in off the corner kicks. But then she had a couple assists off those as well. And if we can just get a few more in the run of play, then fantastic. But and then big time showing from Taylor O'Berry in her first year really playing. She was a redshirt freshman, and we count on her to be there for every game. She was hurt a couple times and didn't think she could play, but we sort of twisted her arm a little bit, and she was fine and did a great job for us.
Well, that was another thing I was going to hit on too, is you had a relatively small roster, only about 15, 16 players.
Yeah.
And Taylor was our lone goalkeeper, and we asked you this in the preseason, you know, what happens if Taylor gets hurt, and you said, we don't know, we haven't crossed that bridge yet.
Right.
So again, I think kudos to the team and to the training staff and to the coaching staff for getting the team through the season where players missed very few minutes due to injuries.
That's right.
And we we went through with basically the same starters and the same rotation all year long.
Yeah, well, I think the way we train the team in practice sessions discourages people actually running into each other, clattering each other, and that's where you get a lot of injuries. Joe did a fantastic job as our trainer, making sure everybody was getting treatment daily, sometimes twice a day when needed, and then just making sure that we didn't exactly baby them, but we really looked after them, where sometimes if you have a squad of about 30, you're not, you know, if somebody gets hurt, somebody else just comes in. And I'm a big believer we need our best 11 there all the time, and they pretty much were without fail. You know, I think only a couple starters didn't play a lot of minutes, like almost like the majority of minutes.
All right, now 2012 is behind us. I know you're already looking forward to 2013.
Yeah.
Again, we return 13, 14 players. So you've got some room to recruit too.
Right.
We lose 2 key players.
Yeah.
In the 2 seniors, but you've got a lot of returnees. What are you looking for to add to this mix to take the next step up in competition? Right.
Well, we need to replace Rebecca Hoekstra, which is going to be tough as a center back. She's probably our most athletic player on the team. So we need a center back that's pretty athletic, that can do a lot of different things and be very dynamic. We actually get back Terry Curtis, who's coming off an injury, so she should be 100% for next fall, which is going to be like getting a new player back. And then we need a forward basically to come in. And so right now we're looking at bringing in about 3 big-time players and about 3 or 4, you know, nice solid players. So we get the squad up to about 22, where it's a little bit more balanced. Hopefully one of those will be a backup goalkeeper or a goalkeeper that has a chance to start, because, you know, if Taylor gets hurt, then, or if the player is better, then, you know, she'll play. Whoever's the better player is going to play. And but I think we've got a nice balance of younger players that, as they go into next year, they're going to be very seasoned. And the freshmen that played, they all played a lot of minutes, so it's not going to be like your typical freshman class that hasn't seen a lot of playing time. They will have played a lot, and so we should be in really good shape.
And now that you've been here, still less than a year,
yeah,
but you do have your feet underneath you. You've gotten your feet wet, so to speak. What are some of the things that you've learned that you can now sell on recruits to get them to come to Francis Marion? Obviously, the new facility behind us is one thing, but some of the other things that you now have learned. Well,
the new facility is great, but you know, just being here the 6 months I've been here, basically at this point, I've got a better feel for what our academics are like. I think that we've got a great academic institution with our nursing programs, with our education programs. Most of our students are either like nursing. We've got a couple nursing, got a couple education majors, and, you know, some business majors in there as well. But it's really tough. It's not easy, and, you know, I think it's a good place to come and challenge yourself both academically and athletically. And then the rest of the athletics is getting where they're really kicking in with the new facilities as well. And it's been fun going to watch the basketball games, whether that's the men's games or the women's games. Both those teams are fun to watch. So it's you can kind of get in there and have a lot of camaraderie between the athletic programs. Because one thing that was really cool was seeing the
Sea of Red?
Sea of Red games, the Sea of Red games, and the golf match in particular, having 150 athletes out there cheering for your golf team. Even, it was pretty awesome. You just don't see that at any school. So the camaraderie of the athletics department's big time.
Yeah, for the folks out there watching, the Sea of Red is a program that Murray Hartzler, athletic director, instituted here at Francis Marion, where each sport picks one home contest, and all the other student athletes don't do anything that day, but they come wearing their Sea of Red shirt to that contest. So whether it's a walking the course with the golf team, or a home soccer match, or a home softball game, you know, you've got 150 to 200 student athletes all dressed in red. They're supporting your program, so it is kind of a neat thing.
It's pretty neat. You just don't see that at other schools. There's a lot of times where one game every once in a while there'll be some people from the football team or the baseball team come, but not like this. And it was really cool.
Well, Frank, we appreciate you joining us here on Coach's Corner. Congratulations on your first season, a very successful one, and obviously we're looking for even better ones in the near future.
Same here, same here.
Well, that does it for this episode of the Coach's Corner. Remember to follow Francis Marion University Athletics online at www.fmupatriots.com, on Twitter at PatriotHawk, and on Facebook at Francis Marion University Athletics.